Hello and good morning, folks. This is Wager Detective reporting live from Tropicana Resort and Casino here in Atlantic City. Today is June 3rd, 2026, and we're going to get into a fantastic cap here between the Miami Marlins and the Washington Nationals, going off at 105 this afternoon. Before we get into that, be sure to follow Wager Detective on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Set alerts for Twitter. You never know when Wager Detective is going to drop a report, an angle, Wager Detective night class. And also on YouTube, subscribe. Every and all support is greatly appreciated, and I love all my fans out there, present and future. Okay, so let's get into this cap, and let's get started with the Miami Marlins. Miami Marlins, they are on the verge of sweeping the Nationals here. They've won the last two games, both by the exact score of 7-3, 7-3. In both those games. The Marlins are 27-34 on the year. They're 5-5 in their last 10. They're 9-6 in one-run games, but they're 9-19 on the road this year. Now, in their last 12-day games at the Nationals, they are 6-6 in their last 12-day games at the Nationals. 3 over, 9 under in those games. They're scoring 3.58 runs per game to 3.66 in those last 12-day meetings at Washington. Now, if we look at day road games for the Marlins this year, they're only 3-10, 8 over, 5 under. They're scoring 2.84 to 6.15 runs per game average for their opponents in road day games this year, being outscored 80-37 in those 13-day games for the Marlins on the road this year. The Marlins, 3-6 in their last 9. They're scoring 4.11 runs per game to 4.77 for their opponents. Comes in at 8.88 runs per game average. If we look at what the Marlins have done versus the NL East this year, they are 10-12. They swept the Mets at the Mets, and they got swept by the Mets. So 10-12 the Marlins are versus the National League East this year, scoring 4.41 runs per game to 4.59 for their NL East counterparts. Okay, so 10-12 versus the East, 6-6 in 12 road day games. Last 12 road day games at the Nationals. They're 3-10 in road day games this year, and they're 3-6 in their last 9. So you can see how Wager Detective could be leaning towards the Nationals to break up the sweep here in this game. Now, this is going to be the last game of a road trip, and then having a day off before they're back home. In that split right there, the Marlins are 6-3 in their last 9, 5 over, 4 under, scoring 4.88 runs per game to 4.77, comes out to 9.66 runs per game average. So when they have the last leg of a road trip, last game of a road trip, and then they have a day off on the horizon, and then they're back home again. The Marlins 6-3 in the last 9. They're 1-1 in that split this year, winning 3-2 and losing 3-6. Okay, now if we look who's going to be on the mound, it's going to be Max Meyer. The Marlins are 4-1 in Max Meyer's last 5 starts, 3 over, 2 under in those games. The over-under is set at 8.5. I'm sorry about that. Both teams coming in at minus 108 on the money line. So over 8.5 is plus 100. Under is minus 122, and both teams coming in at minus 108. So Max Meyer 4-1 in his the Marlins are 4-1 in Max Meyer's last 5 starts, 3 over, 2 under, and they're scoring 7.2 runs per game to 3.6. So they're giving Max Meyer his run support in his last 5 outings. But again, keep in mind that in road day games this year, the Marlins are only scoring 2.84 runs per game, and they're giving up 6.15. So let's see if that changes here. And again, Marlins 4-1 in Max Meyer's last 5 starts. Marlins scoring 7.2 runs per game to 3.6 for their opponent. Run differential of 36-18 runs per game and in favor of them, and it's coming out to 10.8 runs per game average in those games. In Max Meyer's last 5 starts, 29 2/3, 23 hits, 11 earned runs, 12 walks, 3 home runs. Comes out to a 3.34 ERA, a 1.18 whip, and 0.91 home runs per 9. Okay. Now, if we look at Myers on the year, the Marlins are 7-5, or Marlins are 8-4. Excuse me. Marlins 8-4 in Max Meyer starts this year, 7 over, 5 under. in all his starts this year. 66 and 2/3 inning, 48 hits, 22 earned runs, 5 home runs, and 25 walks. Comes out to a 2.97 ERA, 1.09 WHIP, and 0.68 home runs per 9. So Max Myers in his last 5, 3.34 ERA over the full year, 2.97. But here's the thing about Max Myers in his road starts this year. The Marlins are only 1-4. All 5 of those games have gone over the 8.5. In Myers' road starts, where the Marlins are 1-4 this year, 26 1/3 innings pitched, 25 hits, 14 earned runs, giving up 4 home runs and 10 walks. Comes out to a 4.79 ERA, a 1.33 WHIP, and 1.37 home runs per 9. So, when you look at, the minus 108, the Marlins are going for the sweep. Wager Detective likes not blindly betting against the sweep, but, it is an angle. The Marlins, 6-6 in the last 12-day games at the Nationals, only scoring 3.58 runs per game. They're 3-10 in their road day games this year, scoring 2.84 runs per game, but giving up 6.15. And even though the Marlins have won 4 out of the last 5 Max Myers starts, they're getting a lot of run support there. It's going to be a matter of whether they're going to get that again today. And again, Myers on the year, the Marlins are 7-5, 8-4. But over his 5 road games this year, the Marlins are 1-4, and the ERA balloons to 4.79, and the WHIP is 1.33, and he's given up 1.37 home runs per 9, giving up 4 home runs and 26 1/3. So on the road this year. So when you look at that, it makes it interesting. Let's get into the national side of the cap and let's see what we come up with here. So the Nationals, 31-30 on the year. They're 6-4 in their last 10. In home day games this year, the Nationals are 6-9, 9 over, 6 under in those games. So between the road day games for the Marlins and the home day games for the Nationals, between all those games, it's been 17 over and 11 under, that 8.5, right? So for the Marlins road day games this year and the Nationals home day games this year, you add them all up, they're over-under in all those games. It's coming in at 17 over and 11 under. So you can see where Wager Detective could be looking at that juicy plus 100 to get over the 8.5 here, especially with Max Myers' numbers on the road this year. And, in Max Myers, like we said, in his 12 starts this year for the Marlins, it's been 7 over, 5 under. And in his last 5 starts, it's been a 3 over and 2 under. And in his road starts for Max Myers this year, all those games went over the 8.5. So you can see how Wager Detective is probably eyeing up that over. So back to the Nationals again, 6-9 in home day games this year, 9 over, 6 under. They're scoring 4.66 runs per game, but they're giving up 5.33 runs per game. But as we said, in their 15 home day games this year, the Nationals are scoring 4.66. In the 13 road day games for the Marlins, they're scoring 2.84. So that's almost 2 runs better that the Nationals are getting when they play at home during the day, even though they're 6-9. Let's not forget, like we said, the Marlins 3-10 in road day games this year. Now, if we look at the Nationals' last 9 overall, they are 5-4, 6 over, 3 under. Another case for the over there. In the Nationals' last 9 games overall, they are scoring 4.88 runs per game average, and they're giving up 4 runs per game average. So you look at their last 9, their home day games, they're hovering around close to 5, whereas the Marlins and road day games this year, 2.84 runs per game, and in their last 9 overall for the Marlins, 4.11. So you can see how this could be a Nationals day. Now, let's get into the split here for the Nationals. Now, this is going to be the last game of a homestand, and they're going to have a day off, and then they're going to hit the road. In that split, they are 1-7 in their last 8. They're 0-1 this year. They lost 1-6 in that split, and they're 1-7 dating back to the last year. They're 1-7 in that split. So the last game for the Nationals before a day off and then the road on the horizon, They're 1-7 in their last 8 in that split, 4 over, 4 under. They're scoring 3.5 runs per game to 4.88 for their opponent. Comes out to a 44 to 28 run differential disadvantage for the Nationals in that split. So you can see how that could get back to the Marlins when they're, like I said, their split is the last game of a road trip, day off, and then home. They're 6-3 in the last 9, scoring 4.88, but they're giving up 4.77. So everything here is kind of leaning towards the over. As we get further in this cap, let's see where we go with it. Now, the Nationals are 9-13 versus the National League East this year, 15 over and 7 under. So another case for the over here. So between the Marlins games versus the NL East and the Nationals games versus the NL East, between the over and under in all those games, it's 29 over and 15 under. Another case for Wager Detective to like the over here. Now, they're going to see Max Myers on the mound, and they're going to see that they're winning with him. And, you know, he's got a pretty good ERA, Max Myers. But the over is looking pretty tempting here. Now, again, Nationals, 9-13 in their games versus the NL East this year, scoring 5.13 runs per game to 5.27 for their opponent. Comes out to 10.40 runs per game average. Now, when we look at the Nationals, when they've been in a chance to get swept at home, they are 4-7 in their last 11 in that split. So when they've lost the first 2 or the first 3 games of a series at home, and they're looking at being faced with being swept, they are 4-7 in their last 11. They are 2-1 in that split this year. And in the last 11 in that split, 5 over, 6 under, they're scoring 3.45 runs per game to 5.36 for their opponent. And that's a 38 to 59 run differential disadvantage for them in that split. So that's coming in at 8.81 runs per game average. So Nationals, when faced with being swept at home in their last 11 games, the last 11 times, when they've been faced with being swept at home, they are 4-7 in that split. Now, who's going to be on the mound? Andrew Alvarez. He's been pitching primarily in relief for the Nationals this year. In his 5 outings in relief this year, 15 2/3, giving up 15 hits, 7 earned runs, 5 walks, and a home run. Comes out to a 4.03 ERA, a 1.28 whip, and giving up 0.57 home runs per 9. Now, in 5 starts for the Nationals in his career, the Nationals are 3-2, 2 over, 3 under. In those 5 starts for the Nationals last year, 23 1/3, 16 hits, 6 earned runs, a home run, and 10 walks. Comes out to a 2.32 ERA and a 1.12 whip. So he's pretty good, right? He's not bad. He's not bad. And in his starts at home for the Nationals, the results are 1-1 for the Nationals in those games. 11 innings pitched, 4 hits, 0 earned runs, and 3 walks. Guys, if I'm going to look at this game, I just want to touch on a couple stats for both these teams before we get into the prediction here. Miami, as far as teams leading where they're at as far as different stats, batting average. You got Otto Lopez, who's number 1 in baseball with a .335 average, and then you got Xavier Edwards, number 7 in Major League Baseball with a .309 batting average. On the National side, they only got one guy in the top 20. That's A.J. Abrams. He's number 20 in Major League Baseball with a .293 average. So Miami's got a couple guys that got better averages, but when we get to the home runs, you got Liam Hicks coming in at number 31 for Miami with 12 home runs on the year. And then the Nationals got their 2 studs. Number 8 in baseball, James Wood. He's got 16 home runs. And then you got C.J. Abrams, number 31 in baseball with 12 home runs. So they got a little bit more power there. Now RBIs, you got in number 3 in baseball, Liam Hicks for the Marlins with 46 RBIs, and the Nationals got 3 guys in the top 60 with RBIs. You got C.J. Abrams, number 2 in baseball with 47. You got James Wood, number 15 in baseball with 39 RBIs. And then you got Luis Garcia, number 53 in baseball with 31 RBIs. So Nationals come through with the RBIs and the home runs. Stolen bases, both teams with guys that are in the top 35 in baseball. You got number 7 in baseball, Marcy, with 14 stolen bases. And you got Xavier Edwards, number 20 in baseball, with 10. And he's tied with Otto Lopez, who also has 10. So they got guys that can steal, but so do the Nationals. Nationals got the number 1 guy in baseball in stolen bases, Nunez. You see him batting last here, second baseman. He's got 22 stolen bases on the year. You got Wood coming in at number 20 with 10 stolen bases, and then C.J. Abrams coming in at number 33 with 9 stolen bases. So in all metrics, if you look at it, I do believe the Nats are the play here. I really, really do, considering the fact that, like we said, the Marlins are only 1-4 when Max Meyer, who is fantastic, by the way, they're 1-4. The Marlins are 1-4 when he starts on the road this year. I like the fact that the Marlins are only 3-10 in road day games this year, scoring 2.84 runs per game. They're 3-6 in their last 9. 2 of those games came against the Nationals. I don't see the Nationals getting swept here. I do like Alvarez, even though he's got a 4.03 ERA in relief with a 1.28 WHIP. I do believe that his career metrics, overall metrics, like I said, Nationals 3-2 when he starts in his career, with a 2.32 ERA and 23 1/3 innings pitched. Doesn't give up home runs. And then the Nationals are 1-1 when he starts at home in his career, and he's given up 0 earned runs in those 11 innings pitched in his career at home. So when he starts. So when we add that all in, Wager Detective is going to make the call. The Nationals money line -108 to avoid the sweep. And then also on top of that, I do believe this game gets over. And I think when it does get over, I believe it's going to be the Nationals doing the damage. You could probably see Abrams, Wood, or Garcia knock one out, take one of those guys to get 2+ bases. So that's the call here. Wager Detective, June 3rd, 2026, calling the Washington Nationals on the money line -108 to avoid the sweep, and then also the game to go over 8.5. This is Wager Detective. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook. And remember, guys, more than anything, Wager Detective loves all his fans. I'll talk to you soon.